What is up? What is up, YouTube? Fame killed Tupac. Fame killed Tupac. I ran across this. I don't know if we should be doing this, but we're gonna do it anyway. What the hell? I feel lucky. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. We're gonna put this on Mr. Network. This is going on Mr. Network. Y'all go check out the links, check out the World's Largest Rap Contest. If you're a rapper, you're a recording artist, in today's world, if you're an independent artist, you're gonna need some independent help, period. Algorithms and YouTube, upload, download, Instagram, building these platforms and everything, Uncle Mike can help you do it. So get at me. It's free to register and sign up at the World's Largest Rap Contest. My main man Ronnie Bo and we about to start doing some things over there. I know I've been crying wolf, but I don't want to do it unless it's right. So with that being said, we're gonna check out this video right here. Fame killed Tupac. I'm hoping this joint plays, man. I don't even know how many views this thing got. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check it out. Here we go, y'all.
September 7th, 1996. Tupac Shakur arrives by car in Las Vegas. He is about to attend the Bruce Seldon vs. Mike Tyson boxing match at the MGM Grand.
Okay.
8:30 p.m. People start leaving the fight. Shakur spots Orlando Anderson, a member of the Southside Crips, and punches him in the face, knocking him to the ground. 11 p.m. Following the altercation, Suge Knight and Tupac drove off in Knight's car, followed by the rest of Tupac's crew. Only 15 minutes later, a total of 13 shots were fired at the car Shakur was in.
13 shots?
An ambulance then picked up Shakur and Knight, taking them to University Medical Center, where Shakur underwent the first of 3 operations. 6 days later, Tupac Shakur is pronounced dead.
Shit, man.
All the papers, they building me up. Now they destroying me on the same image that they perpetuate. Don't get it twisted. This is not my real life. This is not how my real life is supposed to be.
Gangster rap star Tupac Shakur underwent a 3rd operation last night to correct internal complications stemming from the drive-by shooting. Police say shots were fired from a passing white Cadillac.
I have no patience for anybody to doubt me. None at all. It's too hard out here. You know what I'm saying? If my people don't stand up for me, who is?
Okay. While this intro stuff is going on, go give me another beer, baby. Hey.
Born June 16, 1971, in the East Harlem section of Manhattan, Lasan Parrish Crooks was renamed just before his first birthday after Tupac Amaru, an 18th century South American revolutionary who was executed after leading an uprising against Spanish rule.
Tupac. It's me, term to overcome my obstacles.
This renaming comes as no surprise. when you learn that his parents, Afeni Shakur and Billy Garland, were revolutionaries themselves as active members of the Black Panther Party in New York. Afeni, Tupac's mother, was on trial in New York City as part of the Panther 21 criminal case just 1 month before the rapper was born.
So when the Panthers hit, the government panicked, and they had a thing called a COINTELPRO, and they felt like the Panthers were detrimental to American society, so they raided every Panthers house, especially the ones who they felt like could do the most damage as an orator. Mm-hmm. So my mother was 7 months pregnant. They put a match to the door and said, "Fire, fire." And it's like 5 a.m, so my mother opened the door and they just burst in, put a shotgun to her pregnant belly, and put a gun to her head and said, "Don't move, bye, bye, bye. You're under arrest."
In New York City, 2 police stations and an education office were the targets of planned, synchronized bombings and long-range rifle attacks. 21 Black Panther members were detained. The trial ultimately came to an end, with all 21 defendants acquitted of all charges. Tupac Shakur was born just a month after his mother was set free.
So you were right in the middle of the storm.
I'm still in the storm. I'm still in the storm. As a matter of fact, my mother was in a book. There's a book about my mother called "Look for Me in the Whirlwind," and I like to think that's my motto.
His intense hip-hop songs about the brutal reality of existence for so many people would go on to make him a revolutionary in his own right, altering the musical landscape. Life was challenging. Tupac initially hated his mother, since she was active in the movement and never had time for her son, because she was out delivering speeches, touring campuses, and attending demonstrations. "I always seemed like she cared more about the people than her people," he claimed. Tupac was a shy and reserved child who read extensively, wrote poetry, and kept a diary. He liked to watch TV by himself, picturing himself as a part of the worlds he observed. In his impressionable mind, becoming an actor would allow him to escape and share people's happiness. Even joining a fictional television family would make him not feel so alone.
I did a play at the Apollo Theater for Jesse Jackson when he was running for president. It was for his campaign.
Was this always kind of an ambition of yours? Did you have the show business bug as a youngster?
I mean, I caught it then, but at the time, it just seemed like the fun thing to do, because I was 13, but I caught the bug when I got on stage and all those people was clapping, so that's when I got it. But really, I just enjoy expressing myself. Anytime I can express myself, I can let some of the pain go from a childhood like mine, so that's why I enjoy the acting.
A move to Baltimore, Maryland happened in the same year when Tupac's mother lost her job. After
Baltimore, Maryland. I say about a 15-minute drive from where I'm at. Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out to Baltimore.
2 years at Paul Laurence Dunbar High School, there was a welcome transfer to the Baltimore School for the Arts, where acting, ballet, poetry, and jazz were on offer to the creative teenager, who often performed in Shakespeare plays, depicting the timeless themes of power, politics, violence, and love he had seen firsthand in his early years. The School for the Arts opened up Tupac to an unexpectedly eclectic range of music, including U2, Culture Club, and Sinead O'Connor. Tupac was a popular student at Baltimore Arts, known for his humor and ability to mix with everyone. His mother moved again into Marin City, California, just north of San Francisco. Tupac thought by moving away from Baltimore, he would be leaving behind a life of poverty in a neighborhood riddled with crime. But California proved to be even worse. He said that the poverty he encountered in his early years helped him relate to so many people. And it was here that his mother, Afeni, succumbed to crack addiction. Tupac said that he and his mother went through many stages in their relationship. At first, it was mother and son, then drill sergeant and cadet. Then it was like a dictator and a tiny country. With his mother's crack addiction hard to bear, it finally became too much and he moved out. The fact that he was on his own, broke, and with nowhere to stay meant that he fell in with bad company, smoking weed, staying with drug dealers, criminals, and pimps, naively believing that they cared about his welfare. He wished that he had a father, a male role model, but instead, these people were his influencers. They became his role models, and listening to his music, it is clear the influence the time he spent on the streets had. A new record label called Interscope was looking for upcoming hip-hop performers in the summer of 1991. Tupac signed the Interscope deal in August, ironically before any of his comrades from Digital Underground got solo deals. It was a stroke of good fortune, because the daughter of the multimillionaire who started the firm, Ted Filed, had heard his demo and loved it. Tupac recorded his debut album, Tupacalypse Now, while residing in Oakland. The album includes the singles Brenda's Got a Baby and Trapped. He went from being unknown to having a record that sold platinum. The album follows a young black man's life from beginning to end, detailing teenage pregnancies, poverty, drug use, and police brutality. It also includes references to the artist's personal issues. With the thrill of his first record appearing on MTV, a shocking incident occurred when Tupac was badly beaten in the head. In this press conference, Pac goes into detail about what had happened to him.
Basically, I walked across the street, 17th and Broadway. The police officer stopped me on the sidewalk and asked to see my ID. They sweated me about my name. The officers said, "You have to learn your place." They were charging me with jaywalking, so I was riffing, arguing about why would they charge me with such a petty crime. So I kept yelling, asking them to give me my citation and let me go about my business. Next thing I know, my face was being buried into the concrete and I was laying face down in the gutter, waking up from being unconscious in cuffs with blood on my face, and I'm going to jail for resisting arrest. That's harassment to me, that I have to be stopped in the middle of the street and checked, like we're in South Africa, and asked for my ID. Officer Boyvik repeatedly slammed my face into the floor while Rogers put the cuffs on me. That's not called for jaywalking.
He had a $10 million lawsuit, which they said they would settle. But Tupac said nobody cared. What people cared about was what blew up over the news. They didn't see him being beaten up for jaywalking, images of him with his head and eye bloodied and bruised. All they wanted to see were the images of him coming out of jail in handcuffs. It was a traumatic experience, but a rite of passage for him. Pac came from a family where police had killed the people close to him. After the Oakland police had beaten him up, he changed. He settled for $42,000 because he was tired of being in court, knowing he could have got more money, but settling for it to be over.
Years. These court cases can go on
Often
for years.
complaining that he was misunderstood, Tupac remarked, "Everything in life is not all beautiful. There is lots of killing and drugs. A perfect album talks about the hard stuff and the fun and caring stuff. The thing that bothers me is that it seems like a lot of the sensitive stuff I write just goes unnoticed."
You start learning what to do.
His debut album, Tupacalypse Now, captures the plight of the black individual in an era marked by Reaganomics and the 80s crack epidemic, highlighting the oppression, anger, and reality of a world that, unfortunately, does not feel all that much different from the current climate. These themes sparked controversy. Soulja's story tells the tale of a young black man who shoots a police officer in retaliation for his marginalized place in society. In April of 1992, Ronald Howard fatally shot a state trooper in Texas after he was pulled over for driving a stolen vehicle. Howard's attorney cited Tupac's Soulja story as his influence to shoot. Howard was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death.
Wow.
Later that September, then Vice President Dan Quayle demanded that Interscope Records remove the album from retail shelves, describing it as an irresponsible corporate act, and adding that there is absolutely no reason for a record like this to be published. Tupac was only 22 when his fame soared to unprecedented heights. He described the burden of having so many young people listening to every word he spoke as feeling like a deer caught in the headlights.
People love to, have mercy and sympathy for everything, from the animals to the whales to fur to everything except us. The
Human beings.
The ones who you give no attention to, who become adults with no compassion. You know what I mean?
He had coined the phrase thug life.
Damn, that's deep. That's deep. See, you can rap. That's the easy part. Anybody can rap. But your lyrics got to be deep. You got to be deep, man, with this joint.
To characterize a fresh take on Black Power, the word thug did not refer to a bad person. Rather, it indicated an underdog. He described it as the thug who achieves despite having nothing. They face all of life's challenges.
Amen.
THUGLIFE. The hate you gave little infants, CCK, everybody. Meaning, what you feed us as seeds grows and blows up in your face. That's thug life.
Names like Tupac Shakur, Flavor Flav, Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Reverend Calvin Butts is leading a crusade against violent rap from his pulpit in Harlem.
We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those thugs.
Yes, I am going to say that I'm a thug. That's because I came from the gutter and I'm still here. I'm not saying I'm a thug because I want to rob you and rape people and things. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman because you find me at my places of business. You don't find me up in you know what I'm saying? I don't understand this. I don't understand.
What do you think about
Facts.
He said that he
That's
had
facts.
people in the penitentiary, big-time OG criminals, calling him, telling him they wanted him to lead their movement. He felt as though his power was getting out of control. The fans were more than fans. They were devoted followers. They would do anything he said, and this scared him. At the Truce Picnic in Watts, California, Tupac was instrumental in getting rival members of the Crips and Bloods gangs to sign the Code of Thug Life, which details do's and don'ts of being a righteous thug and man. It was written by Tupac together with his stepfather, Mutulu Shakur, and with the help of some original gangsters. This code was his way of maintaining some control within his devoted following, who may have interpreted thug more literally.
People that are not involved with the street gang, with the drug trade, or the illegal business at all, all that kidnapping and shooting drive-bys out the car, we against that. And people who perpetrate that, they have to deal with the consequences when they go to jail, because that's who's going to enforce this code and the thug life that's on the street. It's like we cleaning up the dirt. I can't change what the dirt that's here, but I can put all this dirt in one corner. You know what I'm saying? Somehow have some order here. And for that, they need to give me a little leg room. You know what I'm saying? Let me do what I want to do, because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else wants to do it.
Undoubtedly, Tupac often ran into problems with his words. Lyrically, he felt like he would and could not hold back on what he wanted to say. He did not always consider his words before speaking in interviews because he was young and still relatively new to appearing in the media. One example of this is when Tupac appeared on TV to explain his side of the story as to why he was fired from a movie. It all stemmed from when the Hughes brothers took Tupac to court after he assaulted them during a music video shoot they were directing. Tupac had initially been slated to star in Menace to Society, but was replaced after the assault incident. The show's host, Ed Lover, tried to cover his mouth so that Tupac would not dig himself an even deeper.
Hey, I didn't even know that. He was supposed to be in Menace to Society. Did y'all know that?
Assaulted them during a music video shoot they were directing. Tupac had initially been slated to star in Menace to Society, but was replaced after the assault incident. The show's host, Ed Lover, tried to cover his mouth so that Tupac would not dig himself an even deeper hole when he appeared on television, and expressed his views about why he had been sacked from the role. However, it was too late.
I beat up the directors to Menace to Society. Let me tell the whole world.
All right, tell them how you did with that.
These chump, punk, slump, you know.
You don't have a chance to come here and rebuttal.
No, they won't. They better come now. Check this out. They fired me, but did it in a roundabout punk snitch way. So I caught them on the streets and beat they behinds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like I was a menace to the Hughes brothers, and it ain't over. I still got more than chump because I read what you said about. Don't jump to the TV. Kick that.
Wow.
The
And
MTV
it ain't
video
over.
was used by the Hughes brothers in court to support Tupac's conviction for assault. He spent 15 days behind bars.
15 days,
There was
okay.
more trouble to come.
God, dog.
In New York, Tupac and 3 other guys were accused of assaulting a woman in a hotel room.
Hi, Tupac. How you doing? Can you tell me how you doing today?
Well, I just had to listen to the prosecution's closing argument, and it was just so far from the truth that it really just has me drained at the end of the day. But I'm leaving it in the hands of the jury. I'm learning a lot about people's innermost fears in this trial, because it's not even about my trial no more. It's just about loud rap music, tattoo having thugs. It's not even about me no more. It's about, some nightmare that these people having.
She was talking about thug life and all that, trying to...
He's definitely guilty. Anybody with thug life tattooed on their stomach is guilty. What type of reasoning is that? You know what I'm saying? We got different backgrounds. We come from 2 different places. Just because I look different than her doesn't mean that I'm a sodomizer or a raper. They've said it in the... I can't understand why it's this close. They talking about there's no evidence that I ever sodomized her, even though you put that all over the paper. And every time they take a quote out of this courtroom, they take a quote from out of her mouth, which is, the stuff to put me in jail. It's nothing that's been true. I just want print the facts so everybody can sort it out. My life is ruined because nobody has a chance to get the facts.
Because of somebody tattoos, right? It can be a picture, it can be words of a tattoo. You're going to say he's guilty. Look at his tattoo. This is what he stands for. I hate people. Or you can do a tattoo, say, I kill people. That don't mean it's the truth. It's just a tattoo, right? I think so. Think about it. I love people. That's just a tattoo. That don't mean it's true. It could be a cover up. I put I love people on a tattoo, right? So they think that I love people when all along I can't stand. I hate people. Yeah, that don't mean it's true.
Her mouth, which is, the stuff to put me in jail, is nothing that's been true. I just want print the facts so everybody can sort it out. My life is ruined because nobody has a chance to get the facts.
And the fact is that there was no semen found.
No semen found, no forcible entry, no entry into the anal, no nothing, none of that.
No fingerprints on the gun.
No fingerprints on the guns, you know what I'm saying? The only time ever there was an act of sodomy, she admitted she did it to me. I should be, putting charges on this girl who sodomized me on the floor of a dance club. Why am I in court? You know what I'm saying? Get my life ripped apart. But I'm here, I'm gonna go through it just to show that I have faith in the American system. But for me to have faith in the American system, these juries and everybody else has to, play the same role and to keep an open mind. I'm already convicted. My whole life has been turned around. I lost every job, I lost everything, every opportunity. I can't buy cars, I'm still smiling, still signing But some go crazy. And it's up to the world, you know. I'm kids is parents. No matter what y'all think about me, I'm still your child. You know what I'm saying? You can't just turn me off.
How old are you? 23.
23.
So you feel that your career is?
Yeah, it is. Why would I own a gun? I've registered guns. You know what I'm saying? I'm a legal owner of guns.
In California.
California. So I came to New York and wanted to be an illegal gun runner now. You know, that's what they want you to believe. I want to start erasing. What? Come on, man. This is all about my image. Has nothing to do with me. This is all about my image. It's like MTV, all the papers, they building me up. Now they destroying me on the same image that they perpetuated. You know what I'm saying? I'm selling records. This is what I do for a living. I'm selling records. Don't get it twisted. This is not my real life. This is not how my real life is supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be really having all these villains in my life.
Tupac was given a $50,000 bail and released. But on November 30th, 1994, the night before that trial's decision was to be made, he was shot 5 times, twice in the head, twice in the groin, and most seriously, with a bullet that went through his hand and struck an artery in his thigh.
Shakur was apparently attacked by robbers as he and 3 other men arrived at a New York City recording studio early this morning. A man identified as Shakur's manager was also wounded. Shakur and his road manager are currently on trial on sex abuse charges.
He was robbed and assaulted by 2 armed guys wearing army fatigues as he entered the Quad Recording Studio's foyer in Manhattan. He would later accuse fellow recording artists Sean Combs, Andre Harrell, and Biggie Smalls, whom he saw after the shooting, of setting him up. Also suspected of being involved in the attack was his close friend and associate, Randy Stretch Walker. In his defense, Biggie said that they were in the recording studio and did not know Tupac would be there. Once they heard he was downstairs, Lil Cease went to get him, but returned with news that he had just been shot. When Biggie's entourage went downstairs to investigate, Tupac was being taken out on a stretcher, still conscious, and giving the finger to those around.
He brought him out on the elevator, right past us.
Damn.
He come out, look around, stick up the middle finger, put him in the ambulance, and we were just curious, like, what was that supposed to mean? Like, was that middle finger to us?
Yeah, it was to you.
From Tupac's perspective, he said nobody would look him in the eye, and that the people that were upstairs must have known that he was going to be ambushed and robbed. And so he basically accused all the people in that room of being part of the conspiracy.
Your gut feeling is the first feeling you should go with. Now, that's something Tupac said also. You know, if you feel that this is right, then it's right. Because think of all this stuff. What make it so bad is, and 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Was it 9 different times or all at the same time? In this Tupac situation, Tupac got shot 5 times. What kind of fucking small baby toy guns y'all using? Because I can shoot you 1 time with my gun in the hand, and you best believe you can die. I don't understand these little toy guns y'all you toting around. Oh, I know why they toy guns. Because that's all you can afford. You can't afford a real gun. Yeah. With some real calibers on it. That's all I'm going to say. Here we go, man. That's crazy, man.
Ambushed and robbed. And so he basically
put that middle finger up to all y'all.
In that room of being part of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Tupac allegedly checked himself out of Bellevue Hospital against the advice of the medical staff because he felt unsafe there and that it was time for him to leave.
Damn right.
His paranoia was fueled by unsolicited calls, and he had trouble falling asleep.
Damn right.
At this point, Tupac even claimed he wanted to die because he felt like a prisoner of fame.
Damn
Shakur
right.
was found guilty of sexually abusing a woman last November in a New York hotel room. The jury acquitted him of more serious charges, sodomy and illegal carrying a weapon. Shakur, who was shot 5 times Wednesday during an apparent robbery attempt, was not in the courtroom when the verdict was read.
I'm not guilty. People should look me in my eyes. They should look me in my eyes. And anybody that thinks I've committed that rape should go get Brenda's Got a Baby and keep your head up and listen to him thoroughly. I have no patience for anybody that doubts me. None at all. It's too hard out here.
You know what I'm saying? If my people don't stand up for me, who is? I understand these white folks looking at me like that because they don't know me. They didn't hear keep your head up. That ain't no fluke. You know, keep your head up ain't no goddamn come up. I didn't do that for to be smiling in my face to say, oh, he's cool. I did that from my heart. So that if they do try to put a rape charge on me, my sisters could say he ain't about that. Now, if my sisters can't say that, you won't hear another keep your head up out my mouth.
He received a sentence of 18 months to 4.5 years in jail in February of the following year from a judge who condemned this act of brutal violence against a helpless woman. He believed that because of his celebrity, the case was pushed towards a guilty finding, even though the defense had no proof, and that this would not have happened to anyone else.
Could not be here breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. You know, nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised.
Me Against the World is referred to as Tupac's most introspective album. Its lyrics are inspired by his nearing prison sentence, poverty, and run-ins with the law. While he was still incarcerated, the album was released, which helped change the perception of him from a gangsta rapper to more of a gangsta poet. The album crafts a world, equal parts truth and fiction, featuring news broadcasts that recount court drama, shootings, robberies, and the media storm that followed. There are tender, introspective times when he transforms into a street poet who wants to uplift his community and the ladies in it, as in the song Dear Mama,
Dear
where
Mama.
Tupac expresses empathy for the challenges his mother faced while raising him. He discusses his mother's crack cocaine addiction and his childhood poverty, but argues that his love and respect for his mother outweigh any negative memories. In the early years, there was certainly turbulence in their relationship, and after Tupac lost respect for her and left home at her insistence at the age of 17, they lost contact. She engaged in a 12-step program at a drug and alcohol treatment facility in 1990. After finding her habit was out of control, she and her son, who at the time was a successful recording artist, reconciled. Afeni makes an appearance in the Dear Mama video, where she recreates her reconciliation with a doppelganger of her son as Tupac, who was still incarcerated at the time.
Hey. Yeah.
After serving 11 months in prison, Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records, paid a $1.4 million bond in October 1995, pending a legal appeal. Tupac was then freed from the Clinton Correctional Facility. Freedom brought creativity, and within 2 weeks he had recorded 24 tracks, saying that it was the best way to vent instead of paying some psychotherapist $50 million. As part of his comeback, Tupac released the single California Love. It was one of his best-known and most popular singles, spending 2 weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 100. It is currently regarded as one of the greatest rap songs of all time, and appears on numerous lists of the greatest songs of all time from notable publications.
Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, fiending for money and alcohol, the life of a West Side player with cowards die in a strong ball. Only in Cali will we riot, not rally to live and die. In LA we wear chucks, not valleys. Yeah, that's right. Dressed in loafs and khakis.
Hold up, y'all. They running that joint too long, man. Yeah.
West Side player with cowards die in a strong ball.
And it's all ball. Come on.
Only in Cali will we riot, not rally to live Chucks, not valleys. Yeah, that's right. Dressed in loafs and khaki suits and ride is what we do. Flossing, but have caution. We collide with other crews. Famous because we throw drams. Worldwide, let them recognize from Long Beach to Rosecrans.
Seemed almost like a rebirth for Tupac.
Recognize from Long Beach to Rosecrans. Bumping and grinding like a slow jam. It's West Side, so you know the road will bow down.
His release from prison seemed almost like a rebirth for Tupac's creativity. Up to that point, he'd mostly been an insular artist, with ideas and thoughts aimed in specific directions. California Love gave him the stellar widescreen treatment that the notorious B.I.G. would get later. It was just a glimpse of what he might achieve as a rap superstar.
Hip-hop need to stay true to the streets. Rap could do whatever it got to do to make money, just stay alive. Right. But hip-hop got to stay true to the streets. Keep your head up, don't give up.
Tupac's New Deal wasn't only about music, since Suge Knight of Death Row Records was one of the most influential and feared guys in the music business and was a key player in gangsta rap's ascent to massive commercialization. It also signaled his acceptance into Suge's powerful crew, which is well known for having strong gang ties. As soon as Tupac was let out of prison, the West Coast versus East Coast rivalry ramped up. Bad Boy was the nickname for the East Coast and Death Row for the West. Like everything else, business success was based on sales. So the success of the musicians and how many records they sold were crucial. Hip-hop originated in New York City, and LA musicians believed they weren't afforded the same media exposure and fan base as those on the East Coast. But for Tupac, it was more personal than this. Tupac had a strong connection to the region, and he disapproved of East Coast rappers like Diddy and Biggie, who, in his opinion, wanted to dirty up everything he had worked so hard to achieve. Tupac said some crude remarks about P. Diddy and Biggie in an interview given to Vibe magazine. He claimed that Biggie knew he was getting set up when he was shot and failed to warn him. Since he was now associated with Suge Knight and Death Row, the situation changed entirely and turned into a conflict with bloodshed and threats. The Source Awards in New York were where it all began. Knight flew in a significant amount of the Death Row crew. That evening, Suge Knight's infamous comments served as the first shot in a deadly conflict.
I'd like to tell Tupac keep his guards up. We ride with him. And one other thing I'd like to say, any artists out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Everybody knew that was a shot at Puffy. Even Puff, they turned the cameras on Puffy after that. And he had a stupid look on his face like, damn, that's messed up. They talking about me. Yeah, everybody knew that was about Puffy and Bad Boy.
All in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Another thing that infuriated Tupac was Biggie's release of Who Shot Ya just a few months after the shooting occurred. Even though it didn't specifically mention him by name, Tupac felt it was a dig at him. Soon after, he composed Hit 'Em Up, a legendary battle record. He used the song as an opportunity to express his belief that Biggie had copied his rapping style and was essentially imitating his way of life. Tupac originally included a jab at Jay-Z at the end of the song, but he later took it out, after being persuaded by members Outlaws that Carter had nothing to do with the dispute between Death Row and Bad Boy. In the music video, performers who had previously appeared in his music videos play some of the characters who were attacked in the song.
How I became Tupac's bodyguard, I was working security at Club 662. I got a phone call from Reggie earlier that day, and he said, "Hey, Suge wants to talk to you. I think that we got a proposition for you." And I go, "What is it? What is it?" And he goes, "I'll talk to you when I get there." And I was like, "No, what is it?" He goes, "It's concerning Tupac." They got there that night to 662, and Pac rolled up with Suge. And I went and greeted him, and I opened up the door and let him out. He was like, "Yo, Big Frank, you here, man? You here?" I was like, "No, man, what's up?" He goes, "Man, you're going to be my bodyguard, man. I chose you to be my bodyguard." I was like, "Oh, cool, man." Right? I had no idea prior to that until he actually had told me. I had the idea of what Reggie had told me, that I was going to be working with Tupac, but I didn't know I was going to be his main security. As he's explained it to me, I'm going to be his main security. Right after that, we did the fight in Vegas, and they performed and everything that night. We went back to LA after that weekend, and immediately after going back to LA that Monday, I was assigned to Tupac. From that moment on, it was Pac and I. You know, everywhere he went, I was with him. And we were rolling. Picture us rolling.
September 7th, 1996, 2:30 p.m. Tupac Shakur arrives by car in Las Vegas. 5:30 p.m. People start lining up at Club 662 on Flamingo Road, where Tupac Shakur and Mike Tyson are to appear after the boxing match.
That day, we were told not to bring our weapons into the club after the fight, not to have our weapons on our person, to either leave them in our hotel room or to leave them in our vehicle.
Has there ever been a situation where you were told to leave your weapon prior to this?
Nope.
We were never told prior to September the 7th to leave our weapons anywhere, other than the fact if we were going out of the state of California by airplane to a video shoot or on tour, we knew common sensely we couldn't carry a weapon on an airplane. So more than likely, we would have left our weapons at that time, but we were never told, there was never a meeting held specifically to tell us to leave our weapons, period. The fight was boom, 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 the fight was over. After the fight, Tupac's and Suge's thing was to go to the back where, Mike's dressing room. So we went backstage. We go backstage, and we're waiting on Tyson to come back there. And Pac's back there, he's all excited. His boy just knocked out Selden. 50 blows, he just hit it 50 times. You count him. So, I'm back there with him and everything, and Suge is back there. So Suge says something to Pac, and then the next thing I know, we're leaving. Tyson didn't even make it out the ring to come down.
That's
Everyone
crazy.
shows up, and one of Suge's homeboys, his name is Trevon, he comes over and he whispers something in Pac's right ear, because I'm on his left. He whispers something. Next thing I know, Tupac takes off running. He took off running, and I went off running behind him, and when he turned the corner, there was this guy standing there. Little did I know who he was. He ran up to him, and he swung. And then the guy swung back, and then Pac weaved, and then Pac swung again. And at this time, there was like 3 or 4 blows thrown. Tupac had this medallion on that he had recently purchased, and it broke. When it broke, he went down to pick it up. When he went down to pick it up, I grabbed him. When I grabbed him, I threw him against the wall. So I had him out of the fight. At this time, everyone else is running up, as clearly the MGM footage shows. The guy is Orlando Anderson, now that we know who he is. They're into this brawl. And I have Tupac against the wall now at this point. The fight ended. We had to get out of there. Little did I know, earlier, when they had left me, I had already walked all through the MGM. So everybody's taking off, going in the wrong direction. I go, "No, Suge, this way, right?" And then he's like, "No, this way." And I go, "Suge, I was just here all day, this way." So they followed. And we followed, got our way out, and we took off and walked back over to the Lexor. We get back over to the Lexor. Suge said, "Hey, I'm going to go up and change." Pac was there, "I'm going to go up and change. We'll meet back down in the valet." All right, cool. We're down in the, at this time, we left his room. We're down in the valet park and we're waiting on Suge. Suge shows up. While we're down in the valet, all of the hoochies, all of the groupies, everybody that knew Tupac and Suge was it, Suge, can we go to the club? Suge, Pac, can we go? Suge said, let's go. He and Pac was walking to Suge's BMW. I'm walking with them. When we get to the car, Pac turned to me and goes, yo, Frank. He pulled the keys out. He handed me the keys. He goes, drive the little homies because we're going to be drinking tonight and you'll be able to drive us back. So I was like, what car you want me to drive? He goes, drive Kadada's car. And I didn't even know where the car was. I go, where is it? He goes, it's right there. He goes, the homies will show you where it's at. So I was like, all right. So Suge gets in his car, he and Pac, and the entourage is starting to form now. Suge takes off. I'm right behind him. I'm the bodyguard on point. Theoretically and honestly, there should have been 3 or 4 more bodyguards with us that particular time, going from there, going to Suge's house, and going back to the club that night for the after party. Later on, I found out that with security, that there was 22. About 20 to 22 security personnel for this night. Everyone was called to Club 662 to set up the security and get the people rolling in over there. So all of the security was there. Michael Moore, who was with me earlier that evening, supposed to have met us at the MGM. His story to me was Al Giddens, who was the supervisor now for security at this point. Al Giddens told Michael Moore to fuck that. You go and come to the club. And he was like, well, Tupac told me to come over to the MGM. He was like, no, we need you over here. You get over here. So Mike went over to the club. So I was the only one left with Pac. Keep in mind, my weapon was in my car. I didn't have a phone. I had no way of communication. Reggie was also over at the club.
Big ass setup.
Normally is Suge's bodyguard.
This whole thing is a big
Reggie
setup.
was always with Suge. That night, why he wasn't with Suge, only Reggie knows that. At this time, everyone in the car, not just me, looked at the gas and was like, yo, Frank, we're gonna run out of gas. I was like, what y'all want me to do? Pull over and get gas? I go, you know, if we pull over, we lost them. Right? So I said, I can't pull over. I might as well take the chance and run out of gas, right? Thinking we're just gonna go to Suge's and from Suge's back to the club. But the light had been on forever at this point, on the gas light.
How long were you on? Where at Suge's house?
When we got to Suge's house, we were at Suge's house probably a good 30 minutes. Suge went in, he changed clothes, they were all just BSing a little bit. When Suge finally came out, hopped in his car, when we came through the security guard that guards the homes going into Suge's place, there had to been 20, 30 cars out on the road just waiting for us to come out to follow us. We leave out of Suge's. Again, we're flying 70, 80 miles an hour going back toward Las Vegas Strip. We get back on the Strip at this point, and why the car didn't run out of gas is a miracle right now to me because it should have had. We get back on the Strip. We're proceeding to go down the Strip. It's a fight night. The fight's over. The Strip is jam-packed, crowded. We're probably about in front of the Excalibur Hotel, which is right by Tropicana on Las Vegas Strip. Tupac and Suge was in the car in front of me, and their music was playing pretty loud because we could hear it. And there was bicycle cops. A couple of bicycle cops pulled up, and one of them went over to Suge's side and asked him, I guess, to turn down the music, I'm assuming. And then the next thing I know, Suge opens the door, steps out of the car. He and a cop walks to the back of the car, and he opens up the trunk. The car was brand new, didn't have a license plate on it. So he looked in the trunk, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I hope they don't get popped. He let him go. So now we're still in gridlock traffic. So we proceed to go down the Strip. We're going down the Strip. Pac and Suge are up there doing their thing, talking. Myself and Outlaws were in there, listening to their music. We get to Flamingo off of Las Vegas Strip. We got to turn right. We make a right off of the Strip. The next light is Koval. Little did we know that anything was about to happen. We pull up to the light. I am the second car. Actually, I'm the third car. One of Suge's homeboys was in front of Suge, which never, ever, ever happened with anyone being in front of Suge. Then another one of his homeboys, Trevon, was to the left of Suge, which would have been to his side of the car. So you got Trevon to the left, you have K-Dove in the front, and you have me in the back. And we're sitting at this light. It's September, it's hot, sticky, and we're all just sitting there pretty much just vegging out, waiting on the light to change. Then all of a sudden, I noticed this white Cadillac. Cadillac pulls up, and it was not like a thought of mine that something was about to happen, because in the entourage, as we're proceeding to go to Club 662, women are like, yo, Pac, Suge, and can we go? Groupies and things like that. So it was not anything out of the ordinary for this car to be pulling up, thinking that something's going to happen.
Right.
As soon as the car pulled up, my head turned back, and I'm looking, and I'm watching the car. Malcolm, who is sitting in the seat behind Yak Fula was in a passenger seat with me up in the front, and Kay Castro, was directly behind me. Before the Cadillac pulled up, we're all just vegging. They're looking out toward the right. Cadillac pulls up, we notice it, and then all of a sudden, this arm comes out. And the arm comes out, and he just started firing immediately. And I'm like, oh my God. And all you see and all you hear is, they had Suge out of the vehicle on the ground, and as I was approaching him, the blood was shooting up out of his head. So I'm yelling, let him up. He's with us. He was part of the entourage. And when they let him up, Tupac is still sitting in the passenger seat. The door is still closed. So Suge says, I can do it. It's my car. I'll open it. The door was actually stuck. So Suge got over there, opened the door, and we pulled Pac out of the car. When we pulled him out of the car, we lied him down on the side of the car. And I'm kneeling down at this time, and I'm talking to him like, Pac, man, Pac. And he's like, he's trying to breathe. And then he goes, I can't breathe.
Man, I never heard this. Wow.
A former sergeant from the Las Vegas Police Department named Chris Carroll came out in 2014, 18 years after the shooting, to claim that he was the first person on the scene. He claimed that when the door was opened, Tupac fell out of the car drenched in blood. The question was, who shot you? Tupac reportedly took a breath to answer before saying, "Fuck you," to the police officer before losing consciousness. Those were Tupac's final words.
Wow.
After the shooting, Shakur's car made a U-turn and headed west on Flamingo. Police reached the car on the strip where it was caught in traffic at Harmon Avenue. An ambulance then picked up Shakur and Knight, taking them to University Medical Center, where Shakur underwent the first of 3 operations. His right lung is removed to stop internal bleeding. Sunday, September 8th, 11 a.m. Knight is released from the University Medical Center. At 6:20 p.m., Shakur undergoes a second operation at UMC to repair damage from the bullet wounds. September 13th, 1996, 4:03 p.m. Sadly, nothing could be done. Tupac passed away from his injuries just 6 days after the shooting. He was only 25 years old. Las Vegas police failed to follow up with Yaki Gaddafi, a member of Tupac's entourage who was present that evening and who said he could identify the attacker. And as a result, no one was ever detained in connection with the brutal killing. It seems too much of a coincidence that 2 months later, Gaddafi was murdered before he could give his damning statement. Former LAPD detective Russell Poole has one theory. He thinks Suge Knight orchestrated the killing of Tupac. Given that Knight was wounded in the shooting, it might seem implausible, considering Knight was hit in the shooting. But Detective Poole thinks that he had his own motives for the contract killing. Knight reportedly owing Tupac a sizable sum of money. Some estimates put the amount at $10 million. Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mother, supports the theory. She sued Death Row Records in 1997 for mismanaging her son's assets and depriving Tupac of millions of dollars.
I didn't know
Seemingly
that.
more proof for this theory comes by way of the fact that Tupac intended to leave Death Row Records, firing his lawyer at the time, David Kenner.
Hold up, man. Wait a minute. We just did a Suge Knight joint, and he's in jail, and Suge Knight was talking and bragging about, you notice how Biggie Smalls was trying to leave Bad Boy, but Tupac was down for life. Tupac wasn't trying to leave. Tupac wasn't trying to leave Death Row. He was thug for life, Death Row for life. We was friends, we was boys. How would I benefit if Tupac died? All this stuff he was saying, why he doing the jail? I gotta look that back up, man. Here we go.
Seemingly more proof for this theory comes by way of the fact that Tupac intended to leave Death Row Records, firing his lawyer at the time, David Kenner, who, in addition to being Suge Knight's lawyer, also wrote up Tupac's agreement with Death Row Records. Just a week after the lawyer was fired, Knight invited Tupac to the fateful boxing match. Another warning sign is how, following the altercation in the MGM lobby, Knight calmly made a phone call while everyone else ran away. A further important note to mention is his insistence that Tupac rides in his car after the fight. Orlando Anderson first testified that Suge Knight was involved in the lobby fighting, but later revised his account to indicate that Suge had attempted to break up the altercation. He said, "I see him pulling people off of me." According to one account, Anderson modified his story as a result of a payoff from Knight. The detective added that neither the hospital, any witnesses, nor the police ever confirmed that Knight had been shot that evening. Chuck Phillips, a former LA Times journalist, has a different theory. He thought the Southside Crips gang, Biggie Smalls and Orlando Anderson, were behind the killing. The LA Times spent more than a year looking into the murder and came to the following conclusions. The Crips shot Tupac as retaliation for beating Anderson. The shooter was Anderson. Biggie Smalls paid $1 million for the pistol that was provided and Tupac's murder. What drives Biggie to want Tupac dead? His year-long battle was well documented. His admission in Hit 'Em Up that he had an affair with Faith Evans, Biggie's wife, was enough proof. According to the investigative journalist, Biggie nor anyone who was affiliated with him was not questioned by the police. 6 months later, in March 1997, Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls, was fatally shot in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles by an unknown assailant. With Orlando Anderson shot to death in May 1998, another avenue of investigation closed, though he had always denied responsibility for Tupac's death and was never charged.
That's crazy, man. God damn, that's crazy.
Greg Kading, a former LAPD detective assigned to the investigation in 2006, 10 years after the incident, put out a different theory. He blamed East Coast Bad Boy Records CEO Sean Combs, often known as P. Diddy, for orchestrating Tupac's murder. When Detective Kading spoke with Keith Davis, a member of the Crips gang, Davis confessed on camera that P. Diddy had given him $1 million to kill Tupac and Suge Knight. Additionally, he acknowledged that Orlando Anderson, Davis's actual nephew, was the one who fired the shot. He also admitted to being in Anderson's car when the murder occurred. Orlando rolled down the window and popped him. According to Davis, Diddy's motivation was his dread and anxiety that Suge Knight would attack first. Additionally, he claimed that Tupac was only added to the hit as a result of P. Diddy's outrage over his diss track, Hit 'Em Up. Because of the shooting in 1994 and the aftermath when Tupac repeatedly stated that he suspected Diddy to be the perpetrator of the incident, also helped ground this theory. In 2011, Dexter Isaac, who was serving life in prison, confessed that a P. Diddy associate hired him to rob Tupac that night. P. Diddy has consistently refuted the assertion, saying that it is pure fiction and totally ridiculous. The case has not been resolved. It appears unlikely that the exact details of Tupac's death will ever be proved beyond a reasonable doubt in court, given that most of the key players are currently either dead or serving lengthy prison terms. However, that won't stop others from seeking answers. Tupac had a prophecy about his death, stating, "That's why I go in the studio and do 3 songs a day, get things ready. If I die, it can happen. If anything were to happen to me, that album's ready to go." Believing that his death would be a tragedy, he envisioned it being like something from a Shakespeare play.
Wow. That's crazy.
Tupac Shakur endures as one of hip-hop's most iconic figures and its most potent enigma. No other artist does a greater job of highlighting the tensions in hip-hop between local pride and national success, as well as the fight to rise above and honor one's humble beginnings.
You know, out of the love for black people. So that's how I gotta live, and that's how I have to die. And that's how my music has to be, and my acting, and my producing, and my interviews, everything has to be for the love of black people.
Tupac transformed rap from a simple street trend into an elite art form. He laid the foundation for the present iteration of the hip-hop movement and continued its evolution as a poet whose tales of alienation captivated young people of all races and backgrounds.
I'm still listening. As a matter of fact, my mother was in a book. There's a book about my mother called Look for Me in the Whirlwind. And I like to think that's my motto.
From the beginning, he was aware of his very short window of time to live and his desire to create a body of work. He was always writing, always making something, and always in the studio. Even in prison, he was writing a screenplay. Knowing that he would not be on this earth for any length of time, he came with a specific purpose, contradictions, complexities, and all. And he left behind something that has touched a generation of people.
Shout out to Tupac, man. He was one of the biggest to do it, but he wrote from his heart. He talked to the street people that was locked in the same type of jails he was locked in, the street jails I'm talking about, right? Shout out to Tupac. Shout out to the point that he understood at an early age how negative the streets, the court systems, the police, the world will actually treat you just because you got thug life, certain tattoos that you have. They treat you this way. Judging a book by its cover. That's how it always happened. People judge a book by its cover. That's how it always happened, man. Look here. Y'all let me know if y'all ender. If you are ender, meaning that you made it to the end of this video, y'all go in the comment section and say, I am an ender. Also, don't forget the World's Largest Rap Contest. If you know a recording artist, if you know a rapper, singer, or somebody that's trying to get their music out here, you have to use social media for marketing promotion. Uncle Mike can teach you and show you how I grew this channel, how much I make full-time income. I am now a full-time YouTuber, and we about to move to bigger and better things. So check the descriptions below. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.